let's find out, as they're actually all smoked up right into each other. Quadruple Y does break the smoke. Big can, just sitting on the cliff with his big cans.
Yeah, love that name. You know, we're having a bit
name.
of discussions on his past names as well, and now he's just Big Can. It's like a big can of what?
Big can of what? Big can of whoop ass. That's what he's hoping this game.
Yeah, that's what he's gunning for, I suppose.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about that.
This guy's old though. This guy's been around since like 2014 or something. I remember watching him on like Serenity and IG. I think was it IG? I can't remember. He used to go under the name Doodle though. So, you know, is it an upgrade? Is it a downgrade? I'm not sure. I think it's different. You know, we don't need to hierarchy everything in our lives. Big Can is different to Doodle. Both are good. Both have their perks. And both teams just look at each other. There's just a lot of flirting going on from both teams, and no real commitment. But here we go. A little bit of tussling here for this rune, and it's really not going well for Nova, as they are taking way more damage on Han and Sheep here. As they will back themselves up. More bounties gained by Supernova, though, so that's a bit of a win.
Yep, they find a little bit extra. Was a bit dicey when Bocce walked up and got the double K off. Does feel pretty good as the Undying at that point run down. Still, we are taking a look at that mid lane matchup. First, it is Han on Pango up against D-Stones on that Puck. And this matchup should be fairly even. You might argue maybe a little bit Puck favored, but I think we've seen Pangos actually work this lane just fine. It's not like unplayable once you get your swash. And maybe you're level 3 up, you can kind of harass back fairly decently and maintain your farming pace as well. Probably just down to rune control. That's where the Puck should have a slight advantage, but again, you're not completely out with a swash. You do have mobility on hand on Han to secure his own runes coming up here.
Yeah, one thing which is important to mention is that there was a bit of an HP disadvantage for Han starting off on this, because he did get decayed and then hit by a bunch of spells. So there was that to take into account, but they also gave him a shared tango. I think they gave him 2 shared tangos to start off the lane, actually. He ate one immediately, and then they gave him another one to use immediately afterwards.
Wenhao.
So that'll help out. But yeah, Wenhao up at top, he's cooking, and not in a good way.
Oh yeah, he's cooking up.
He's got to be careful. I mean, there's a Mango and a Dual Breath available from Chola here if he wants to go for it, but he seems to be holding back for now. Doesn't think he has the damage, and he's probably right. Trust him to know his hero's capabilities, so we'll leave Wenhao alone for now. Coming back in with the help of the creeps, though. I mean, they don't have the Fortify up quite yet. If they had a Fortify, he could have thought about going for something, but I feel like he could have killed him. I don't know. Am I crazy? Has he got a Fairy Fire or something? Oh yeah, he's got Fairy Fire and 6 sticks. Never mind.
Yeah, but if he gets the next Liquid Fire, perhaps with a dual Bread, and maybe a couple right clicks out for Ndong, can be manageable. It's still, with that kind of movement out, you're just kind of leaving course to play tag. That does lead to a little bit better farm for Dong, and not as much impact for YYYY. Down bot, as we have seen, it is Bocce on that Undying. And Chen going for the Axis early on does help him harass, but at level 2 now for Big Ken, he does have that threat with Metamorphosis, still has it ready.
Here we go.
And
Metamorphosis comes out. Yeah, it's a lot of damage, but they've got the lift from Sheep there to hold them back. But look at Bocce just smacking away at them. It's Day of the Dead down here. Sheep does have the wand to keep himself alive, but this will give them a bit of lane dominance for the time being. That said, 2 big cooldowns being used, so I don't know. Is there a chance for Supernova to take back control of this lane once this Metamorphosis and this Tombstone have gone down?
Yeah, there is a pretty big chance. Bocce's all out of regen. That's all his 6 mango is gone. So you should be able to play here on the side of
Supernova. Very low, but Han, he's got a Swashbuckle available, but does not quite land it onto D-Stones there. D-Stone's very cool, calm and collected. He had the Fairy Fire, but didn't even pop it when he saw the Swashbuckle come out. He was like, no, that's a miss.
Yeah,
what a
holds on. It is rather even in CS. It's a little bit, I mean, it's still all right for both sides. Rune control is going to be the big one. Even just these Watt runes coming out, if you can deny it off from the other mid, it secures you a pretty big advantage. No one's died, so no one can come in for that TP reset on the bottle as well. So you can't do as much, and you can just see Han is feeling pretty confident. Fairy Fire popped now. No mana on Han. But again, if rune control comes out favorably for either side, that's where things can really ramp up.
Yeah, for sure. And there is a movement coming in from Wenhao here. Not quite sure what this is. Just the Sapphire looking to secure the 4-minute water rune, I suppose, but Han's able to get it regardless, and Sheep there. There's a random Sheep in the middle lane which just shoots D-Stones in the face, and that'll be your first blood.
Yeah, just comes down to, again, to that rune control. Han has the faster fingers, grabs the water rune himself down there. No top up for the puck, tries to go down mid. But the early rotation from Sheep, that TP from bot, just, it works out. No vision to spot that out. I mean, they did have a ward, but I'm surprised that he managed to catch out these stones. I mean, just going back a bit too forward, close to that tower, and gets gunned down.
Dude, that was that was wild. Like, he just wasn't ready for that at all. Red Sea D-Stone's getting caught out like in that way. But she might. Nah, but she's fine. He has a tombstone, but doesn't really want to pop it without having his TB there to set up with him. Wants to kind of just use those spells in conjunction to kind of kickstart that bottom lane again. And it is doing really well, actually. They're just going to bring him down regardless. There's the tombstone coming down. He sees the opportunity and he does not hesitate. Meanwhile, Wenhao jumped down to the low ground to keep himself okay. Turns around with a cheeky little scatter blast onto 2. And quadruple Y. What an annoying name. What an annoying name, by the way. Why can't you just be 3 Ys? Then we can call you triple Y. But you have to be 4 Ys. Where do we call him quad Y? Do we call him Y? I
like saying Y. There's something in my brain that just enjoys these repetitive names for some reason. I have a very different brain, Nomad.
I see. I've noticed.
Enjoy that.
Yeah. Different is what we're going for, is it?
Yes. It's the kind way of saying it, Nomad.
Indeed. Well, when out comes mid once again for the bottle refill. Delicious little sippy cup. A lot of heroes showing up at mid again. Again, I'm not sure. They're just going to try to secure these runes, but last time it didn't work out so hot. And this time around, they're only really looking at bottom, and guess what? It's going to spawn top. So 2 heroes come mid for what?
Doesn't pan out. They know they need that rune control. They don't manage to find it. It could still lead into good rotation down bot, though.
Yeah, I mean, Y might be a little bit dead here as they manage to close the gap on him. And again, that's what happens. You move 2 heroes to the middle lane. The opportunities do open up. And Supernova, they're not wasting any time to making the most out of this.
Yeah, they make use of it really well. The rotation down bot from Wenhao and Bocce doesn't really pan out either. I mean, it's not like Your Terribly necessarily wants to run up with a Metamorphosis, as he's at the point where he probably just wants to use that to farm in the jungle or maybe shove mid. Like, those are your 2 options right now in terms of timing for LRNR. And for the side of LRNR, like, the one thing that's really hurting for them is the off lane of Y. Like, again, it's not a matchup that feels good for the Dawnbreaker. Melee hero up against Monkey King is always a little bit better for the Monkey King. You're not really able to bully. You can still keep that safe farm, but it's not like it's going particularly fast in that farm right now.
Yeah, it's not coming in thick and fast, but, you know, it's a quiet game as Wenhao does get brought down by the combination of the Pangolier and the Rubik. Just roaming around with that Invis rune. Again, those active runes, so these mid-rotations, they're making a difference to the early game. And now, Chola catches him out with the Ice Path. There's just going to be a little bit of damage, though. Don't have time for the setup with the Rolling Thunder just yet. Early days on the Ice Path still.
Yep. Just threatening a little bit. He's managed to get a lot of space to just soak up EXP down mid. Chola's now at 5. It's still a ways off from hitting 6. But with the threat of Macropyre eventually coming out with a level 3 dual breath, there's a lot of output here. Free to play with on Nova.
In the mid, though.
They're going on Han.
Yeah, they're setting up for it, and I think they do have the damage. Stuns there with the cookie. Damage comes in. The Ice Path is not enough to save the day. They will bring down Han. That was a very nice movement there, as well as Wenhao runs into the middle lane. Another bottle refill, just constantly keeping D-Stones topped up, ready to go. And that's what gives them the resources to get that kill in the end.
That's a big kill that they needed to find. They'd feel like Han was just getting a little bit too much from his mid lane. You're starting to build up a little bit more. It also buys you some space and relief for Big Can to just keep farming down bot, with all the attention turned mid. You are starting to see a TP back from Han down bot, though, and he still has that roll ready. So they can try to attempt here.
Yeah, this would be big, and it looks like it is going to go their way. I mean, they've got the raw to secure it if they want to use that, and they will. Jen just comes in and slices the guy up. There you go, like a big old sausage. Nova will get themselves a kill down here. And probably let's put some pressure on the tower as well. Meanwhile, Lonely Rock and Roll, they were thinking about something similar up in the top lane, but they don't really have the heroes for making that sort of movement. And that's been the awkward thing for them, kind of. They're relying on this puck to do so much for them that, you know, you move 2 heroes up the top and it's like, great, do we cookie into Starbreaker this Monkey King? I don't think that's really going to work. What can you do?
Yeah, it's a tough one to just get that lockdown going. They also managed to get a good scan off from Nova's end. They get the sense that there is more heroes down there, and Dong just TPs, believes he's heading down bot to get that push, get that farmer, also pushing in mid.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy right now. They're shoving pretty hard as, well, the Puck just engaging onto this. I mean, he's got the support for the Dawnbreaker who comes down from the heavens. They're looking over towards the Pangolier. They're going to need to take him down, and they will do so successfully. Chola trying to TP out of this one. That is going to happen. The Jakira gets away on a sliver of HP, so nice initiations from D-Stones, comboing it up with the Solar Guardian to get themselves a nice kill there onto the Pangolier. And defend their middle tier 1 tower in the process as well. It did take a bit of a beating there, though, as Sheep gets a cheeky little deny on the double damage rune.
Yeah, they've just been pretty on point in Nova to force these moves out. Like, you force them mid, so you get clear room to just clear out bot. Dong doesn't get punished for switching lanes. Our Monkey King is rushing Radiance here as well, which I'm still not a fan of. But
okay, we've seen this before.
If the timing is good. Yeah, we've seen this before. If the timing's good, then maybe. But I'm still not sold on this Radiance rush on the one. It's not amazing.
Is it Radiance Ags is the plan?
Usually it is.
Okay. All right, that's spicy. I mean, it gives you kind of another way to address this Terrorblade, I suppose, as Boshi does get caught out. Probably not the kill they wanted there, as they set up pretty hard on the mid lane. But at the same time, Supernova is still getting the pressure on there, recognizing the timing of their draft and realizing that this Terrorblade is just not really going to be in the game for a while. And they're abusing it, which is really nice to see. Oh, lift up onto the puck. They're going to be able to take him down so fast. D-Stones is just out of the equation. Han rolling around looking for more, not going to be finding it though, as the middle tier 1 tower is going to drop. Supernova finding the pace here.
Yeah, they've just been really aggressive. Again, they've got this early push time with a Beastmaster and Jakiro on hand, and they do have the hold for something like the puck in a good setup. For the side of LRNR, I was expecting maybe Big Can showing down mid. Again, playing with Metamorphosis, taking that mid tier 1, not something we've seen early aggressive Terrorblades kind of do to secure more map space for themselves. But Big Can is just opting to farm, which, you know, it's fair enough. You are a Terrorblade, you want that build up. But it does feel like map space is just going to shrink more and more now with your bot jungle just completely cut off with the tier 1s taken. So Supernova have the room to sustain Dong's farm. You don't really have ways of fully punishing that Monkey King yet. Supernova's still been really on point with rune control, getting the Arcane rune up for Han. It's going to line up with his next Rolling Thunder use, lower cooldown, much more activity coming out from Pangolier as well. And eventually Chen will also hit that point where the full Dominator comes up, the full Overlord comes up, with the Ancient Creep up and running. And there's a lot of output for Supernova to meet in these next few minutes. And for the draft of LRNR, it just kind of stems back to picking up the Dawnbreaker.
Moving down on bottom though onto YYYY, who does get cleanly taken down. Another kill gained by the side of Supernova as they just continue to, as you say, shrink the map. That's what it's all about. That kill was so deep, and there was like no response from Lonely Rock and Roll, so they really are just trying to play a very economic game right now, and it's not looking horrific when you look at the money, but it's looking pretty horrific when you feel the pace of this game, and you know, you imagine how Rock and Roll must be feeling right now. In fact, they're running up this high ground. They're trying to take back control of their jungle, and they're going to be able to do so. And it's D-Stones who leads the charge here onto Sheep. The rest of the team on the side of Supernova not really looking to help out here. It will just be the kill, although he's still on the phase shift. That might save them. Yes, they turn it around on D-Stones. Bocce's dead as well. Why jumps in, trying to bring down Han. They do get that kill. It's something in return. The kisses do the damage, but oh my god, I mean, I can't believe that just happened.
That was pretty insane.
Dude, he phase shifted, which gave him enough time to get off the telekinesis when he came out the other side. That's what got the puck killed. That was insane.
They just lined up. Like, they're getting all the space out for LRNR, to be fair. Like, they are distracting. They're giving Big Can as much room as they can. But this early activity for Dong joining in these fights, I mean, he's going to hit that Radiance timing at a pretty good point. Probably one of the better Radiance timings we've seen on these rushes on the past one, as he's only about 490 gold away. So the burn damage, the miss chance on Terrorblade's going to feel good. You're just going to have this early presence coming out from your Monkey King, and he's been really effective in this early movement out, connecting with his team. The side of LRNR, like these fights just feel maybe a little bit too scrappy. It does feel like you're going to need more farm on your Dawnbreaker. And that does feel like one of the big issues with this hero. Like it feels like it needs to really farm a lot and win out its lane hard to get this timing into, say, Desolator, or if not the BKB plus Shard, I think is what I tend to prefer, just because it allows safer activity coming out here, although with all the control on Supernova, at least with Aurora on hand, you could be susceptible to that as well. And look at Supernova. They just run in.
Pace,
they
man.
smoke up.
The pace is so sick to see. Like they're just absolutely grabbing this game by the balls. And looking to grab somebody else here is Big Can under the tower. He really shouldn't be dying here. Nice read from him, though. He seems to sense something is wrong. They'll turn around, they'll look for the alternative kill, which will be Wenhao, tanking it for the team, just saying, hey, I'll be your canary in the mine. I'll go and check it out for you.
Yeah. And you save your core, you let him bail out, but this pacing from Supernova is pretty hard to fight into now. Like, Dong has that Radiance up. So your Monkey King is actually fairly well equipped to just keep farming, to have that mischance be pretty impactful when you do jump Big Can down the line, to cancel off blinks, especially from this puck, with a tick damage on. Like it's a pretty good solution here. I mean, from Dong, as long as he can meet his next timings.
And that's the thing, like, Big Can's not going to be going for this pike. He's not going to be going for any sort of mobility item. He's going actually for the Skadi. So when that, if Monkey King does get on top of him and then throws down that ultimate, then he's not getting away from that Radiance burn. That is a problem for this hero. He needs to land every right click to be able to be effective in the fights, and that's what's going to be happening. Is now we look over towards Sheep, who does take a decent amount of damage, but Supernova, they're just kind of abusing the lack of catch. Sheep, can he dodge it out? Yes, oh, nice catch him with the last Mortimer's Kiss. Very well done, as Han will roll away from all his problems, as we all wish we could sometimes.
Yeah. At the least he doesn't die, you know, the roll is expended, but you're pretty alright with the Pangolier living true. They're still kind of set to try to take a fight if they want to. Full Overlord already up on Chen. So he's got the nice Ancient Black Dragon on hand with its output and its wave clearing potential now as well.
Yeah.
And for LRNR, like, it just feels like the map is shrinking way too much. Like, Big Can's forced to constantly play up top where you just have so much aggression lining up here. It's definitely not.
He could be in trouble once again here. Does throw down. Oh no, the reflection might just give away his own fate though. In comes Wukong's command. Big Can does get caught by the ice path, but it's a little bit too deep, they've decided, on the side of Supernova. So they actually make this very, very disciplined play of backing themselves out. But is it going to matter? Oh, the stolen coil onto the puck. He's going to go down again. They will get the return kill onto Chen, but why? Might be in some trouble now as well. As the Rolling Thunder comes back on through. They get the kill onto the Dawnbreaker, and then they move over towards Wenhao as well. That's going to make it 3 for the side of Supernova and might just lead them into Roshan.
Yeah. They still find these big kills. Sure, you're not finding the Terrorblade kill on Big Can, but actually hurting this puck is massive. Like, the Witchblade isn't up yet on D-Stones. He doesn't have much more to play with. It's hard for him to play with. Yeah, it's hard for him to just play with that blink, because you do have all of this control. You do have all of this AoE damage, AoE DOTs on hand to just make it feel impossible to sneak away here. And with a melting, after all that commitment out from LRNR, you don't have play to contest. Sure, it's not the fastest Roshan, but you're not going to have anything ready in time to contest this.
I bow down to you, John. Man, I thought this was looking like an okay puck game. Not amazing, but not terrible. But it's a terrible, terrible puck game. Rubik, I think especially Sheep, has just absolutely had D-Stone's number. Has been tearing him apart every single fight.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I think it's both Sheep along with Chola. And the fact that these ice fats have felt consistently impactful out from Chola.
Not again, not like this. The lift is there, but do they have the lockdown? He does get off the phase shift, but ice path coming out the other side. Han is ready with the lockdown as well. D-Stone's trying to get away as they make the alternative play. They get off Chen. Bocce's dead as well. Why to follow as Wukong's the Boundless Strike comes in to finish off D-Stones there. The puck has died, and it looks like Wenhao will be following as well. TB, only one left alive, because once again, he's just not turning up to this fight. And he's changed his item again, not going for the Skadi, but now instead going for the BKB. Mr. Indecisive over here on the Terrorblade.
It just feels necessary with all the control out from Supernova. He needs to actually join in these fights on that Terrorblade. And again,
watch the puck on the
just
replay.
Control. Yeah, I mean, Ice Path just ruins you. Like, if you can see him phase shift to dodge, you can just Ice Path down, and suddenly you just can't bail out. Sheep again with a Stolen Dream Coil setting up, and it's just, it feels so hard to play this game. Because your puck is all your initiation. You can't jump in with your Dawnbreaker until her Shard Blink plus BKB. I don't think Shard Blink alone is going to be enough. So it's going to take a lot of time for you to start relying more on your Dawnbreaker outside of that Solar Guardian to set up for you. And in that interim period where you're waiting for those items, like Supernova will just keep playing aggressive. There's nothing to wait for them.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I was kind of hoping that the Dawnbreaker would go for like Greaves or Ags or something like that, but no, she's got a Desolator. So, I mean, it sounds cool in that, you know, when you rock up into the middle of a fight with this eventual Blink Dagger, you can then just kind of land Starbreaker on like 3 heroes, and then your TB's going to absolutely shred them. Like, in an ideal world, you know, that sounds super pog, nice, but you need to be alive to do that. That's my concern.
Yeah. Like, I'm honestly not the biggest fan of like the offlane Dawnbreaker Desolator.
Oh, I hate it.
Unless you're really snowballing. Like, say you're dominating the lane pretty well, your matchup's good, then Desolator can come out faster, and then that can kind of tie into pretty good team fight. But at this pace of the game, coming out from LRNR, it's just too slow.
Stunned up. They're considering the Wukongs, but they will reconsider as they back themselves away. But yeah. I mean, the BKB is here now for the TB. I'm guessing that's what cancelled the Wukongs. They saw that, and they decided to change plan. D-Stones is able to get himself away from the Ice Path, despite it being used on his phase shift, because he's got the Blink Dagger now, and that Witchblade. He's hit his timing, his second timing of the game. It's 20 minutes in. Not ideal. Big Can still scouting. They feels like they want to try and bait this one in on Lonely Rock and Roll. And they're going to do it. They find themselves the opening onto the Beast Bus, but the Wukongs is perfect. It's really good. Big Can trying to fight up into this, but he's not really got a choice. He just has to back himself away. Puck juking through the back lines of the fight as now they look over towards Boshi. He's going to be the target as the Undying does get brought down, and now Wenhound needs to get himself away from this Pangolier, but he's no Indiana Jones. He can't escape the boulder, but there's not enough damage to finish the job. Meanwhile, Puck still playing around in the back lines. Has the Orb out. Is going to be okay. It's just a bit of trading going on, but that's the thing. They've used those big ultimates on the side of Lonely Rock and Roll, and that Solar Guardian was absolutely terrible, and the Wukongs was absolutely perfect, so the fight easily goes away with Supernova.
And they find the pressure they want on Supernova. They force these moves out from the side of LRNR, they force the BKB out from Big Can, and they don't really lose too much out of it. Like, yes, you lose your Beastmaster.
It was very, very close. Still chasing. I'm not sure this is the move, Han. I'm not sure this is the move, but okay, he's just gonna get mown down by the T. That's a bit greedy, my friend.
Yeah, a little bit optimistic. You can see Han saying sorry to his team, just getting a little bit, feeling it a little bit too much. Does get punished for it, but overall, you're still in a really happy spot now for Supernova. With that bot tier 2 taken, you've got outpost control. Open your way if you want to kind of take it as well. And you're just keeping this map still completely in your control. Like, there's still nothing to stop Dong in these fights. Still has the 8-second BKB. Still, age is going to expire at least, so you don't have to worry about that secondary life for LRNR to play into. But you look at LRNR, you look at their farm, it's still not where they want it to be, and Supernova will just smoke out again.
Yep, no Metamorphosis for another 50 seconds still. D-Stones, he needs to go away to this orb right now, and he is going to be able to do so. A little bit of panic there from D-Stones, but he does get himself away. But meanwhile, Y won't quite be so lucky, as he is going to get mown down by the Monkey King and by the Bangalore in the bottom lane. So a multi-pronged attack from the side of Supernova comes out with the goods, but has to be said, you know, that their momentum is plateauing a tiny bit. I feel like if they can't really take this mid tower, and they get another fight in with this TB meta, then there might be an opportunity, but again, I don't have much faith in this Dawnbringer, so how much can they really get done in these fights?
Yeah, I mean, it's not completely lost for LRNR. Like, as long as you hit your timings here for Big Can, like, the Silver Edge is going to be good. You can do a lot of damage. It's all about positioning for Big Can, and it's not the easiest game to just stand back and play with your Metamorphosis. I think we've seen that multiple times where you are durable enough, especially on Dong. Once he does drop the Wukongs and the BKBs fade, the Radiant's missed chances just hurt so much on the Terrorblade with his need to physically burst someone. It is a lot of EHP for pretty much your entire team here on the side of Supernova. I think the spikes for LRNR, I mean, you've got the shard on YYYY. He's going for the BKB and Blink. That's the point where the Dawnbreaker can start to feel a lot better, but not fully set. I'd say this might actually be a game where Dawnbreaker Ags feels almost necessary. Just that additional time up in the air, like, miss chance.
I mean, just for the Wukong's command, right? Like, it just gives the TB a much easier way to play this game. If like he gets Wukongs, you could just throw down the Dawnbreaker on top. The game will probably just, the fight will just sit still for like 8 seconds or so. Sounds pretty chill.
Yeah, that's what you'd want if there's space to farm it. So in a dragged out game, I think the side of LRNR does feel considerably better as the game goes on. Like, you hit this 25 talent up for D-Stones, he gets to farm his protective items up. It's going to be harder to pin down that Puck, especially once that Linken's is up and running. So you're going to have to kind of anticipate that on the side of Supernova. However, you are still growing massively on Dong. Full Scotty already up, along with Radiance. Just way more slows, way more healing reduction coming through. Kind of sabotaging how much you can really get done with that Solar Guardian.
Do you know Chola's nearly got an Ags on the Jakiro? He's got a full staff and almost, he's 500 gold of an Ags, the absolute madman. And he's eating tomes like they're hot buns. So he's going to have a Macropire, which is going to do a lot of damage. Like, the change to this Macropire was actually insane. It now does damage the moment it comes out, which is a huge buff. And it's going to be pure. It's going to melt this TB, dude. He cannot afford to stand inside Macropire. He will die very, very fast. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
And we go. Core comes out, and once again, only onto the Beastmaster, committing 1 ultimate, 2 ultimate, 3 ultimates, and Chen is still absolutely peachy. In fact, he's going to turn around with a Roar, just slowing down Big Can, controlling him up as Rolling Thunder comes through as well. An awkward fight right now, but now, he's in with the fight onto Big Can right now. Big Can's BKB is going to be running off slightly soon, but it comes to Dawnbreaker. They're playing it nicely, but is it nicely enough on Rock and Roll? No, it is not. The Boundless Strike comes through, and that finishes off Big Can. Now he's a little Can, as they will take care of YYYY as well. Bocce on the run. They are still chasing on Dong, and he is going to be able to finish off Bocce here by the looks of it as well. A couple of spells missed, but it doesn't matter. They can miss spells with this advantage they have right now. There is no TP, there is no threat, and it's going to be once again Supernova taking the fight, and now looking to take some high ground action as well.
Nothing to stop them. On the respawn for the Terrorblade, you're not going to have Metamorphosis either, so there's really no threat here. Kisses were expended, Dream Coil's gone. No Solar Guardian. In fact, you have a stolen Solar Guardian ready on Sheep for a bit of a reset of their own. There is a commitment out from LRNR.
Yeah.
And you just can't stop this.
And this feels like a desperation build coming out from Terrorblade as well. He went Sanj and Yasha instead of like Manta or anything like that. So just needs like a way to kind of break out. He knows that he's going to have everything thrown on him. And wants that status resistance. That's all it's about with his SNY. It's just the status resistance and move speed to try and get away from these heroes and find the right positioning in these fights. But not an item you see very often, and for good reason.
Yeah. It's that extra stat resistance might be able to make a difference. It's just that your window for like using that and like looking for this opportunity to use your BKB, it feels way too tight with all the control Supernova has. Like it doesn't feel like there's a safe time where you're like, all right, I can bail out, I can pop BKB, I'll get backed up by my Puck and Dawnbreaker. We haven't seen that connect.
No.
It's just easier to execute on Supernova. That Ags you talked about here, Nomad, on Chola is up. So the pure damage Macropire, this is painful. And the duration as well on these high ground sieges. You just cut right through, you prevent LRNR from trying to go onto you. And just area denial, it's massive on his Jakiro.
Raw Macropire and a hero is dead. That's it. It's really that simple. As they go for the initiation here, they find it onto 2. Who are they going to bring down? Well, the answer is Boshi for now. They won't find the +1. It's actually Puck on the backlines trying to find the Rubik. The Rubik going to steal the Dawnbreaker ulti. It's not going to be enough to keep him alive, but it is going to be enough to kill off the Puck, and that is a headline as they'll turn around and just rip the Dawnbreaker apart as well. I mean, the TB, why are you here? He turns up late, and he's not really invited to this party at all. Tries to go for the BKB, can't get off the Sunder, though. Onto the Monkey. He's got a BKB of his own. And it's another death for the Terrorblade, one they really couldn't afford. And
Nicole?
That's going to be it. The GG is cool. We don't even get to see the Macropire in action, really. It was kind of on the mark in the end. So a get from Han as well, as game number 1 goes convincingly towards Supernova.